have some fun and maybe we'll learn something.
Guys, if you could just sit back.
We shoot at the duckies now. How we shoot at the ducks? Oh.
In our first story, long ago in a faraway land of little England, there was a great pine war. As we join our story, we find Lewis trying to talk to good King George about the war.
Good King George, what are we going to do about the pie war? Leave me alone, Louis. I'm playing with my wooden duckies. I just love my wooden duckies. What King George? All the other kings are out there leading their armies. Shouldn't you be leading yours? Of course not. There's nothing in this kingdom more important than me and my wooden duckies. I just love my wooden duckies.
Now, the pie war had been going on for ages, and all the other kings were out leading their armies, but not good King George. He was too busy thinking about himself and his duckies. And because of this, his armies were getting creamed. Get it? Pie war, cream, armies. Anyway, good King George had hundreds of duckies and was playing with them all the time. Then one day he spotted little Thomas playing in his yard with a wooden ducky of his own. Now this wooden ducky was Thomas's only toy, and he really loved this ducky.
I really love this little ducky. He's my favorite toy. In fact, he's the only toy I ever had.
Louis! Louis! Oh, Louis! Yes, King George. Oh, there you are. Thomas has a wooden ducky. I want it. Oh, King George, you already have a wooden ducky. You have hundreds of wooden duckies. I don't care, I want it.
With that said, Louis left the castle, and the king's general came in to speak to good King George.
Good King George, all is not well in the pie war. We are taking heavy casualties. The enemy is not playing fair. They are using blueberry pies, and our mothers are having a hard time getting the stains out of our armor. We need more men.
More men? Why don't you take Thomas?
But he's so small.
Oh, he only looks small. He's actually rather strong. I want you to take Thomas and put him in front of all of the army, and have everybody else step back.
Okay, sire, you say so.
So the general left and took Thomas to the front line of the party. In the meantime, Louis did as good King George asked and brought Thomas the wooden ducky to the king.
Well, here you go, King George. Thomas's wooden ducky.
You mean my wooden ducky? We won't have to worry about Thomas anymore. I sent them off to the front lines of the pie war. That'll take care of him for a while. But King George, how could you? Thomas is so small. I told you before, Louis, I'm the most important thing in this kingdom, and I get what I want.
Louis, realizing that he needs to go about this in a different way, leaves. As he is leaving, the general comes rushing into the throne room, dragging a dazed Thomas behind him.
Sire, sire, the pie war is over. We have won.
Incoming blueberry pie, 3 o'clock.
What happened? What's wrong with Thomas?
It's an attack, banana green pie attack.
It seems he took too many pies in the head. But I did as you said. I put Thomas at the front of the board, and while the rest of your army stepped back, Thomas stayed right there taking pies. He didn't retreat. He won the war.
Well, take him outside and give him a medal or something. I'm going to play with my duckies. That's it! King George, are you the only person you can think about? General, just take Thomas outside for a second.
A wise man once told me a story, King George, and I want to share that story with you. There once was a man, a very rich man. He had a lot of sheep. He had a lot of land. He threw a lot of parties. He was dapper, he was tan. There once was a very rich man.
Okay, rich man. Yeah, very interesting. Thank you.
Wait just a minute. My story is not done. It's about 2 men, and I've only mentioned one. There once was a man, a very poor man. He didn't have nothing, just a little lamb. He loved that lamb, he fed it with his hand. There once was a very poor man. Then one day
lot of lambs, the rich man must have given one of his lambs for his guest.
He gave the lamb of the poor man. He gave the lamb of the poor man. The rich man took to give his guest the lamb of the poor man.
What? The rich man took the little lamb when he had all these lambs in himself? That's not fair! Who is that man? Bring him here. He'll spend the rest of the days in my dungeon.
Oh, King George, you are that man.
Me?
Yes, you, King George. You have hundreds and hundreds of duckies, and Thomas only had one duck, and he loved that duck very much. Yet you took that duck away from him for yourself. God's very angry, King George. You've been very selfish.
You're right, Louis. What should I do now?
Ask Thomas to forgive you. Ask God to forgive you. Then, make it right.
So good King George brought Thomas into his room. And he told him the whole story. And he asked Thomas to forgive him. Then he prayed to God and asked him to forgive him. Then he gave all his ducats to the children of the kingdom and promised never to be selfish again.
Well, King George, did you learn anything today?
I sure did. I learned that when you take something that's not yours and you don't share with what you have, that's being selfish. And being selfish hurts people. And I don't want to be selfish anymore.
Well, let's see if the narrator has a Bible verse for us. And so what we have learned and lives to our lives today, God has a lot to say in His book. You see, we know that God's word is for everyone. Now that our song is done, we'll take a look.
Let's see. In the Bible, Romans 12:10 says, "Love each other as brothers and sisters and honor others more than yourself." You see, God wants us to think about others and how we can make them feel good before we think about ourselves. So next time your brother or sister or one of your friends wants to share something of yours, think how happy it would make them when you do. And don't be surprised if it makes you feel that too.